He's just had a book out called Is A Mirage, I think it's called. Put your hands together for Neill.
Hello. How are we all? I was testing to see if you've been paying attention. We'll get the first thing out of the way straight away. Yes, I have no shoes on or socks. Well, I didn't buy many. So my name is Neill and I go as the Prove It guy. The reason I go as the Prove It guy is that I feel that anything that you think you can do, you should be able to do as long as you put the effort in there. So everything that I demonstrate, everything I talk about, everything I've achieved in my life, you too can do it. So I will prove to you that you can do it as well. So there's nothing special about me. It's just that I actually push myself every day to achieve whatever it is that I want to achieve. So to give you a quick background, I was one of them kids at school that school wasn't really for me. I wasn't really designed for it. Most kids that are like that normally it's in their second or third year of school, they just discover that school's terrible. My first day in P1, my dad sat me in the chair and he said to the teacher, just be a wee bit wary of that kid, he's a flight risk. And the teacher said, what kid? I was gone. I went out the back window, not even out the door. I figured the door would be too obvious. Out the back window and home. I did this for 2 years. P1 and P2, every day they brought me to school, I just ran away. Every single day. When I got into secondary school, my mum believed that would change everything. Maybe I just wasn't designed for primary school, and now when I get into secondary, I'll become this new person. I did become a new person, louder, more annoying, and self-righteous, I suppose would be it. I also with a wee bit of anger. So it ended up with one day a classroom got wrecked somehow. I'm not sure who did it or whatever, but I was there when it happened. Nobody else was there, but it happened. And I ended up, for the next 2.5 years of school, being allowed in one classroom in the building. I was allowed in one classroom. Basically just to keep an eye on me. They sat me at the back of the room. I went in every day. One of my memories from school that was most exciting for me was the teacher that was my careers teacher. Have any of you had a careers teacher before? Have you had a useful careers teacher? Exactly. My careers teacher was wrong. He told me I would be in jail or the army by the time I was 18. Proved him wrong. But whenever I was at school, the one rule my mum had for school was just to show up. When I was younger, I thought that was to keep her out of trouble. In the way they always would say that you have to get to school or the social will come. It was just really so my mum get rid of me for a few hours. So I used to go to school every day and sit there. So in prize giving, when my careers teacher laughed at me and said, I don't know what you're doing here, you're going to be the one sitting with nothing, I got a gold attendance award. So then I left school with no qualifications whatsoever. I basically couldn't read or write because I didn't have to do anything, so no one tried to teach me anything. I went to do media in school in the tech because my mate was a stoner and was too afraid to go on his own. I had nothing else to do in my life, so I was like, right, I'll just do that as well. Then I ended up working in a shop because me and the media instructor, I had a wee bit of anger issues. Me and the media instructor had a falling out, so they put me out of that school as well. How do you get kicked out of tech? Like, twice. They let me back in when I convinced them I was good and it was the wrong subject for me. Then they kicked me out a week later. So far I wasn't really going very well. Then I ended up working in the shop. I found a Kung Fu magazine and it completely changed my life. I decided, reading this magazine, that I was going to become Jackie Chan. I wasn't going to become a martial artist like Jackie Chan. I was going to become Jackie Chan. That was it. That was my goal in life. And I decided. That was on a Tuesday, the magazine came in. I'd never been away from home. I barely stayed at school, I did nothing. I rang a number on the back of the magazine, and 3 days later I was standing in the middle of London with this crazy, bald, like tattooed, dressed like a clown man, just picking me up from the airport. Like the weirdest Tinder date ever. I just landed. There was a sign with my name on it. But he didn't hold it, he just had like a guy. And then I ended up studying martial arts. I studied Tiger and Train Kung Fu I've been studying martial arts for 20 years now. I'm the highest ranked in my art, in the two arts that I do in this country and in Ireland. I love a challenge, so I decided one day that I would prove a point that I think breathing exercises, which I will do in a moment with these, can help you in any aspect of your life. A pole dancer said to me, "Oh, do you think it would help pole dancing?" And I was like, "Yeah, it helps everything." So that was like a Thursday, and then on the Sunday I was in the All-Ireland Pole Dancing Championships. There's actually a video of me coming around the pole, staring at my mate and going, and then doing whatever it was. I ended up becoming a 3-time Irish champion pole dancer. Then I decided that that was good. I would enter some things. I put myself into TV roles and stuff. I got on Love Hate, I got on The Fall, I got on Game of Thrones, I was in a Kung Fu movie. I decided that Ninja Warrior would be a good idea. After I tore my scapula and lied my way through the audition and told them that I just didn't feel really well at the time, and that's why I was terrible at everything they wanted me to do. When we had to do a warm-up before doing the course, I had a meeting with the guy, so the warm-up guy left me alone. I just went and stood around the corner where no one could see me. Ran across the Ninja Warrior course, got halfway, caught a cargo net, my arm went, no. I let go and I went head first backwards into the water. The reason my arm did that is because I put a protocol in there whenever I was thinking about doing it that I don't want to wreck myself. So the protocol was if I do anything stupid, my body will just switch off. So the stupid thing was catching the cargo net with the wrong arm, and the body went bye-bye, and I landed in the water. So like I said, I like to challenge myself, and the biggest challenge I think ever, and it involves my careers teacher again, is I wrote my own book called Is A Mirage, which for the smarties, it spells lame. Right? Right? There's no words in the book, that was all I could come up with. That was enough. I also got to hand that to my careers teacher one day. I was like, "Oh, here, if I can do it, right?" And then I walked off, and then he realised it was mine. So what I would like to give you today is an idea of what I think goal setting is and how you should set goals, why you should set them, and how you should achieve them. Are you happy enough with that? Yes. Cool. Some people just want me to reenact my fall off Ninja Warrior instead, just repeatedly, throwing bottles of water at me. So do any of you in this room have a goal? Good. Yes. Can I borrow someone on stage? Does anyone want to come up on stage before I just shoot you look direct at me, delighted? Everyone will give you a round of applause. Everyone will give you a round of applause. Thank you very much. What's your name? Aidan, say hello to everyone. Hi. Brilliant audience. That's lovely. So, you don't know why you're here, do you? But immediately as soon as I looked at you, you looked for any escape, like anyone in this room would have done. Then you slowed your normal walk to the stage because you were thinking, "It's only joking, he's joking, he's joking." And now you're here, and now you're thinking, "Oh my God." Let's see if nothing bad will happen unless this goes wrong, and then I go into panic mode. You understand goals, correct? But I'm going to give you a very simple goal first. So face me. Perfect. Snap like a pro. With this hand and this pointy finger, not this one, that one, because this is mine. I want you to touch my ear. Yeah. And then I want you to stand back. Exactly where you were on this line. Don't move from your feet. Touch my ear. Easy or hard? Good. I didn't know you were going to stroke it, but that's fine. Perfectly okay. Easy peasy though. Good. Close your eyes. I'm not going to do anything mental. Keep your clothes. I'm not going to do anything mental. Exact same goal. Please do not poke me in the eye. This is where bravery comes in for me. Touch my ear again. Do not move. Touch my ear. So, you can open your eyes for a second. Audience members, did I move in any way? No. Did he touch my ear? No. Touch my ear the first time? Yes. Yeah. So whenever he had a goal which was touch my ear, and he had every piece of information he needed to achieve that goal, easy. Whenever I took away some of the information, the goal becomes really hard. And that's what happens in most people. We set a goal, we have this high-flying goal because we're taught in all the books that you should aim for the stars and all that jazz. And then we go, right, how did I get there? I don't know. I'll start tomorrow. Actually, no, I'll start on Monday because Monday's the worst day to start. I'll do it Tuesday. I have classes Tuesday. I will. Thursday week, I'm ready. So I'm going to give you. But you know, everyone's had this experience, yes? Yes. Good. So we're going to give you a new experience. A new experience is going to be delightful for you and a bit more information for your goal. Your goal is still the same, but this time you get to touch my chest. So I just want you to, I'm not going to touch you, man. This hand is going to touch my chest. Ooh. I feel your heart racing. Don't move, close your eyes. So now you have a bit of information. Keep your eyes closed. So you understand how your body works, you understand where my body is in relation to your body, in time and space and in the universe. So with that information, touch my ear again. Brilliant, and then let go. Thank you very much. So does everyone understand the point of that drill? So whenever you set a goal, there's two things you need to know. One, where you are, and two, what your goal is. And then you have to start taking the steps towards getting your goal. Everyone with me so far? Yes. Everyone has a goal in mind, yes? Yes. Can you all stand up for me? Now, you've been shouting a wee bit all day. Everyone's had a wee, I feel like I'm at a wee tea party, but everyone's like, have a wee sit on your tea. I'm going to count 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to shout your goals at me. Everyone happy to do that? You sound really happy. Yes. Everyone happy to do that? Yes. Perfect. 3, 2, 1. Brilliant. How does it feel to get your goal out loud? Sometimes it's scary. Anyone else any feelings getting their goal out loud? No? Just nobody felt anything or thought anything? Just shouted, ah! Don't pick at me! So sometimes it's important to get the goal out loud. So imagine, everyone remember my first goal? What was it?
To be Jackie Chan.
To be Jackie Chan. In my head I was like, and then I was like, I'm going to start saying it out loud. I'm going to be Jackie Chan! Then my brain went, maybe you need to change that a wee bit. Maybe you need to be like Jackie Chan. You're not going to become a small Chinese man. It's going to be ordinary. I'm going to be ordinary Jackie Chan! And then my brain went, he's got a wild on inspiration, like he's nearly died about 6 times. He's broke every bonus. I'm going to be healthy, safe Jackie Chan! Right, I'm with myself there. But the more that I analysed it, I know I'm making fun of it, but I analysed it and I was able to change my goal and make it more realistic. The problem with a lot of goals is we go, I'm going to lose 50 kilos. And you go, what does that mean? I'm going to be thinner. And then what would happen? Then I would have 50 kilos less. Not just 50 kilos in stone. So many stone do you want to lose? So if you lose 10 stone, would that be better than 50 kilos? Now we're just really confused. So I work with how it makes you feel. Why do you want to lose weight? Because I want to feel like this. How much weight is going to make you feel like that? Because as a hypnotist, there's loads of hypnotists in the room, I can make you be a chicken. And I want to like. So look here. Shout your goal out again. Right, so I'm going to go 3, 2, 1 again because I did more than that time and everyone panicked a wee bit because we're Northern Ireland. We're like, I'm not saying it because I'm the only one in church. Same as when you say, everyone close your eyes and everyone does this, and then they go. I don't know if you've ever closed and opened your eyes before, but it's easy to close your eyes and open them without moving the rest of your face, but when you're trying to be sneaky, so we're going to do 3, 2, 1, and you're going to shout your goal out to me. So 3, 2, 1. Anybody change their goal? You can all sit now, thank you very much. Anybody change the goal? Anyone thinking of their goal differently? Good. So whenever you set a goal, the next part is know where you are. So everybody knows where they are in relation to their goal. Like again, if I use weight loss, I work with a lot of clients that wanted to lose weight, and they'll say, I want to lose 10 pounds or whatever, and then I'll say, cool, what weight are you now? And they'll go, oh God, I don't weigh myself. No. Well, how do you know you're not already lost 10 pounds? Last time you weighed yourself, you might be 20, now you're only 10, who knows? So everyone knows where they are in relation to their goal, yes? Perfect. So then the next thing is to break it down into steps. So I wanted to be my version of Jackie Chan. That takes me here. And I was like here. I went in, I didn't even do PE at school. I wasn't trusted to do PE. So you can imagine how healthy I was. I was just this wee scrawny kid who actually had hair, but you can imagine that. Down to my shoulders. Because I don't know what happened. But it all got carried away. I had down my shoulders, and then 2 years into my martial arts, I thought, I'm a real martial artist now, so I shaved all but a ponytail. The first time I ever met the Grand Master of my art, I walked up to him, I shook his hand, and then I just thought, I'm racist. We're Northern Ireland, we don't really know about racism. And I was like, he's going to see my hair, and then he's going to think I'm taking a hand out of it, which makes me a racist. So for 2 days I tried to keep my back down. I was going ahead there, I was the most polite guy I know. Like, oh, walk on there, I'll open the door back up. So whenever that was my goal, I had no idea what I was doing. So then I had to decide what I had to do. First I needed to learn the basics of Kung Fu. I spent 3 months, I don't know if I can do it, these trousers. Bear with me. I spent 3 months doing this. And everybody else who was doing different exercises and all would say to me, why are you always doing that? Like, that's all my master taught me. So I did it for 3 months. I'm very stubborn. I studied under that, and then I realized that I needed to learn more, so I moved to London and started to work on that. So they were my steps that I was taking. Randomly, my goal was always to be Jackie Chan, a martial arts instructor, and if I could get into movies and all that would have been great. And then randomly I found magic. I moved in with a magician. The magician showed me a magic trick. He put a coin inside a can and just blew my mind. So I started studying magic as well. That was my next thing that I did. I studied magic, and when I started to study magic, I learned about how people see things. Like earlier on, whenever you did the whole tie-up, how many people got tied up? Most of the room. That's because, again, a lot of the time we think we're paying attention, but we're so nervous that we might miss something, that we start to miss everything that's going on. So my goal was to incorporate both of those, because I used to teach target hardening. I used to go into schools and teach them about bullying. Does anybody want to come on stage for another example? Come on. Are you any good at giving people abuse?
Perfect.
Good? That's because you were so gentle at raising your hand. I was like, this isn't. Everyone will give you a round of applause. That's the only reason I chose you. I was like, if you have shoes, you're not getting on the stage. That's why it threw me. You had no socks, so I was like, it's halfway there. Halfway there. What is your name? Grania. Say hello to everyone.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
Right. We're going to sign a mental disclaimer. Yeah, perfect. I would like you to give me some verbal abuse. There's 2 rules to it. One is I will take no offense to anything you say. And 2, you're not allowed to physically attack me. Well, you're definitely not allowed to hit me. Because shoes are no shoes. I'm really sure I could take you. The people in your row are like, no, then don't grab it. Can everyone hear both of us speaking? Yes? Perfect. Free rein, whatever you like. Verbal abuse.
Liam, today you were just absolutely useless. You were dreadful.
I was not.
You were.
No.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, is that why you think I was terrible? What's that about?
What?
Why? I thought we were a team because you had no shoes and I had shoes. And we were...
No, I'm not a your team at all.
Thank you. Don't worry, that was perfect. So then we're going to do that once more. Same rules apply. I'll take no offence. Don't strike me. Whenever you're ready, go.
Hey, what did I tell you? You were just absolutely crap.
I know I'm trying my best though, and you know, I'm not winning over the crowd at all, but when I try my best, that's all I can do. I'm trying as hard as I possibly can, but they aren't taking me on board at all.
No, I'm not taking you on board, but no.
Do you think it's just you or it's them? Because how do you think I could better myself to use that in the audience?
You could talk a bit more.
About?
Jokingly, you could talk a bit more.
And then stop again? So you see what happened that time when I didn't give any fuel, you started to run out of things to say. Do the things you're already doing, then I'm stuck. So what normally happens is someone gives us grief, and we respond to it. So the first thing you said I was crap, and I was like, no, I'm not, blah, 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 and I rose to the occasion, and then you rose with me, and then we got a bit, and then I backed away again. And this time I stood in a nice position, I cut you off, I sort of took away the crowd from you and engaged with you, which made it harder for you to give me grief, correct?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. You can have a seat. Thank you very much. Anybody any ideas what the point of doing that is? I'm really impressed you didn't call me bald. Normally people just go straight for bald. More imaginative, you see. Attack my top while I'm halfway through. So anybody, any ideas why I do that demonstration? Yeah. So normally people fail at goals and things that they want to achieve because I say, I'm going to become Jackie Chan, I'm going to move to London and do X, Y, and Z, and everyone around me goes, you what? And in this country, you what? It's normally enough for people to go, I know you're right, actually, you're right. So then we go back over here, and like, what are you actually going to do? Oh, I'm just, like, I've worked in the bar for 17 years, or 13 years, sorry, that's felt like 17. That's what I did. And people would say to me, you've got a good job, you are secure, you have money, blah, 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 blah. If you go and do martial arts, what are you going to get out of it? And I'm like, well, probably I'll be kick ass. I'll have probably no confidence, self-esteem. I'll get to see a bit of the world. I'll be able to do something that nobody I know can possibly do. And that's the way I went with what I was doing. But in this country, we'll go, you what? And most people will go, I don't want it. That was a stupid idea. The first book I ever read, I was 16, and it was called George's Marvelous Medicine. You ever read that?
Yes.
Probably when you were about 5. 16. What did you read there, Neill? George's Marvelous Medicine? What's it about? Medicine? It's pretty marvelous. And then I said, I'm going to write a book. And everyone went, you what? I'm going to write a book. And then I wrote a book. And then I got to give it to my Greek teacher. Take that. But the point is that how people perceive us is how they perceive us. A lot of people will go into it and say that that's just a reflection of them looking at you and reflecting back. But when you look at me, you don't see yourself as a bald man. That just makes no sense. So it's how they see you, and how I'm seen by you is different. Like for me, I'm great. A lot of the time I tell myself I'm great. My sister once said to me, "Why do you always run around the house saying you're great?" And I said, "Try it for 3 days, come back to me." She never came back to me. There's no time. You're great. There's a difference between telling yourself you're great and believing it. And Sean talked about it becoming across as cocky. And I've had people go out of their way to tell me I'm not humble. And I just email back all this cool stuff that I've done and be like, I'm going to be humble here. Just because I don't put it on Facebook that I helped a sparrow back to life. People do that. Whatever. I don't take it on board. Anything that you say to me will only affect me if I let it. So most of the time when people are giving you grief, most people go with me being bald. You didn't, well done. But they may as well say things like, you're sitting on a chair and you have a cardigan. And you're like, how dare I am not sitting on a chair and I do not have a cardigan, you're wrong. People have said to me I'm bald and your accent's stupid. And I'm like, this is me trying to get a good accent from being in Oman my whole life. And I'm bald because I was punished for growing a stupid hairstyle, and then when I shaved it off, it just never came back. So, like karma or something. So whenever we're setting a goal, we need to know where we're starting, and then where it is, and how to deal with everything in between. So whenever I talk about that, I talk about resilience and target hardening. Anyone understand what target hardening is? No? Yes? It's basically whenever you turn yourself into a harder target for people to attack, physically and mentally. So one of my other jobs is I work with basically he's a bodyguard, and he's done tours in Iraq and places like that, and we teach target hardening. So somebody was asking about a martial art to start off with. I would agree that you should do something like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or wrestling, or something that you can get in that's team related, but also you have to be on your own a lot of the time. So as a wrestler, you practice as a team, you work as a team, but then when you walk onto the mat, you're on your own. So you have to develop both. That'll teach you a lot of awareness, and I think awareness is one of the main things that is lacking in people who want to achieve goals, whether that's to become a better person, whether they, like I worked in the fitness industry for a long time, and people would say, I'll go back to fat loss, and we'll say, no one ever said fat loss, they always say, I want to lose weight. If I said to you now, I can guarantee in 40 seconds, I can help you lose half a stone, would you be keen? Half a stone of weight. And then I get you on stage, and just kick the head clean off your shoulders. Half a stone. Weight is everything. Weight is all of us. If I said I could help you how to lose fat, that's a much different story. But again, so it's being specific in your goal whenever you create the goal. That is how you can create steps to get there. I work with fighters, and one of the fighters' goals was to win. So I was like, how do you want to win? Because the best way of winning a fight is to not be there. So if you don't show up, technically you won the fight, you lose the actual fight. But you know, if your opponent doesn't show up at all, then you win the fight. Will you feel proud of yourself then because you got to walk through? No, I want to win. How do you want to win? I want to punch him. Like, brilliant. Like, how many times? And how many rounds? How long do you want to be punched as well? So I would make him make a specific goal, and his goal became, because we knew his opponent, the goal was he would visualize himself walk out, touch gloves with the guy, he would walk back, settle himself with a wee stomp like that, then he would shuffle forward and overhand right. That was our goal, and knock out overhand right, within the first minute. Because he was like, I'll do it within the first round. I was like, well, if you're going to do the first round, why don't you just get it over and done in the first minute and we go home? So rather than thinking about the opponent, it was his setup. So he didn't think this guy's really good at moving. He sets up, he walks into the ring, they do all the jazz, and touches gloves. He walks back and he goes 1, 2, 3, 4. The ref goes fight, and he does a shuffle, an overhand right, and cleans the guy out in about, I think it was 19 seconds. Because the guy was used to him, he always used to rush. So the guy was fighting the guy, not his opponent. There's a difference between fighting the guy and the opponent. And he was waiting for him to do something. So then whenever he decided to go forward, we went with what we had planned. His goal was that specific that there was nothing else in there. So whenever Robert was doing it with his visualize a goal, he just wanted to see, and people visualize the goal, their eyes closed, and they're like, I want to be Jackie Chan. Things will come in and tell you you can't be Jackie Chan. But you have to be able to analyse them on the spot, whether or not it can't be Jackie Chan because I'm not Chinese, or it can't be Jackie Chan because I'm not good enough at martial arts. And then if it's just that I'm not good enough at martial arts, what can I do then to develop that and bring it on? So whenever I talk about target hardening, a good example, I can't borrow you because you're very close. Can you come on stage, please? You agreed, and then when I said come on stage, we're like, oh no, what did you think was going to happen? Everyone else knew what it was. Louise, did you forget? Say hello, Louise. So how nervous are you now on a scale of 1 to 10 being on stage? 10? Good. That's what we're here for, isn't it? To create nervousness and freak people out. Perfect. So by the time you go on stage, you'll feel a lot less nervous. This is a scenario I want to place to you, men and women. If you were walking, so say if you stand here for me, and turn around. So imagine you're walking over there, turn around, and you hear me walking behind you. Say we're walking at the same pace, what would you do if you felt nervous? Would you feel nervous, and what would you do? Would you walk faster? Would you slow down? What would you do? Turn around. Perfect. That's the right answer. Most people will do this. They'll go, oh God, there's somebody following me. Or they'll take their phone out and pretend they're on the phone. They're like, no, I shop. The correct thing to do is to turn around. Why would you turn around? Yeah. Right, so good job doing after your So to face it, so you're trained. This is why I think everyone should do some form of everyone should do some form of martial art, because how many of you would have said turn around? So look at there's about 7 people in this room that are, when you turn around, one of the questions I'm asked in target hardening all the time is, what do you do if someone attacks you from behind? And then if I was a self-defense instructor, I would say, you do X, Y, and Z, we'll do 6 arm bars and a backflip, ready? Nobody should attack you from behind. Nobody should. I'm not even basing you, and this is weird, isn't it? It feels uncomfortable. Why would I ever let this happen? I would turn and look directly at you, just like you said. So what are we doing then whenever we turn to look at someone? We're changing the perspective of how we see everything. So our goal is, somebody's going to attack me, don't get attacked, don't get attacked, don't get attacked. And you may say, okay, this. Please don't fall off stage, don't fall off stage, and walk like that. And would you have called me like that? No. Or test your kickboxing by just wandering off. So that's what we're doing. We're basically closing our eyes, same as when we're trying to set a goal. So then I would like you to put your arm out like this, and a fist, and just meet me here. Make it as strong as you possibly can. But stand up straight, so I want you just to focus all the power of the arm. Good. And then bend your arm whilst you make it as strong as you can. Can't do it. Relax the arm, bend down. So just stand up and bend your arm normally now. So bend it. Good. And then push in as hard as you can. Now bend it. Much harder. Good. Relax a second. So the point of that is, if you put your hand up for me, when my focus is on doing something as hard as I can, and then I say, do something else, my brain goes, you what? And then I'm thinking, because you do kickboxing, you think the same as me. If I bend my arm, I'm going to get slapped in the face. So that's what's going to happen. So then if I say relax the arm, then the arm will just bend normally. Does that make sense? Do you all get that scenario as well? Perfect, thank you very much. You can have a seat. So whenever we don't control what we're thinking about, so setting a goal, we just have here and here, we're just going to work out how we're just hoping that we sort of blindly get there. If you break the goal down, so whenever we're doing that, your arm's stiff and I say bend your arm, part of your brain has to go, well, I have to stop doing this to do that. So if we use losing weight as an example again, if you want to lose weight, what's one of the things you have to do? Stop eating. Yeah. But if we break that down, because if I said to you, I can help you lose weight, you're going to stop eating, what happens to you in about 3 weeks? Are you dying? You're not eating. So you have to break it down. Stop eating what you consider negative food that has added weight. You have to stop doing the thing that you have done to get you to where you don't want to be in order to get somewhere new. So if you wanted to lose weight, you know the end goal is losing weight. But then I want a side goal, which is how will I feel when I get there? And then what steps are we going to take? So what's the easiest step to do whenever you're wanting to lose weight? That's why you're the only one that said exercise, because everyone's like, oh, that's the worst bit. The easiest thing to do is hire someone that knows. Just look like you're about to do. Were you demonstrating yoga for me? How do you lose weight? Yoga. I would do 2 of my trousers. Turns out they're too tight. Hire someone that knows how to help you change your mindset so that you can not become someone that wants to lose weight, not become a person that's not fat anymore, to become a healthy, happy version of yourself. Same as anything. If people come to me for smoking, I can, again, if you just throw back to this thing, we can make people think that they're chickens. One time I was asked, could I stop someone from smoking? not could I help them give up. I was performing at a magic gig. They said, can you stop someone from smoking? And I said, yeah. So he took out a cigarette, we put it on the table, I hypnotized him that the cigarette was too heavy. I said, now do you think you can smoke? And he said, I sure don't feel any different. I go, go on ahead. He goes, lift the cigarette. And everybody do that too. Concentration time. So he did concentration time and everything, it didn't help. Couldn't lift the cigarette. I didn't make him a non-smoker, I just made his brain believe that the cigarette was too heavy, which is a ridiculous thing to believe because like he'd been smoking for years. But if he hadn't changed the way he asked me, obviously if I was doing it in therapy I would have been nicer, but I was just performing as a magician, so I could do whatever I want. If he had asked me, could I make him a non-smoker, that's a completely different question. So if you wanted to be someone that loses weight, you need to work out why. If you want to start your own business, you need to work out why as well, because it's the why that will keep you going whenever it's 6 o'clock in the morning and you're getting up to drive to, what's this place called? Seagull? I've been calling it the Seagull for weeks, and people are like, that's not what it's called. Like, well, I'm going to the Seagull. Tweet the Seagull. At 6 o'clock, it's dark, you're tired from, like I finished yesterday at 12 at night. So it's just a lot going on, and if my why isn't strong enough, then I'll just go, you know what, let's not bother. And when I come up here, then I'll just sort of stand going, hey, and where's your good birthday? Just listen to them and do what they say, and you don't need me. We're going. I'll just do that magic trick and leave. When I puff the smoke, for Batman. I do those superheroes. Is everybody with me so far? So you need to know where you're going, where you are to know where you're going, and then you have to break that down and be happy to change along the way. So I'm going to do a 3 count. You're going to shout out your goals, and then I'm going to open up for a Q&A if anyone has any questions for me. So we're going to do a 3, 2, 1. You're going to shout your goals, but this time, imagine I'm on the other side of that wall. So I don't want you to be like, like if you can't say it with your whole body, if you can't say it with every ounce of you, then there's a part of you there somewhere that doesn't believe it. So whenever you say it, you have to like roar it across. I want to hear it out there. I'm tempted to go out there to see if I can hear it, but then you might just leave. So we're going to do a 3, 2, 1, then you're going to shout. So 3, 2, 1. That was better. We're going to do it once more. 3, 2, 1. You hear the difference, even the energy in the room when I used to do it now. It's not as, I don't really believe myself. I'm saying words because I was told. Now you're like, I'm going to do it. In my head, and I was doing it back there, obviously no one could see me except some of the guys at the tables. I'm standing at the back of the room like this before I get ready. This is called power pose. If you ever meet my nieces, I don't know why you would, it'd be weird. And you shout at them power pose. Since they were 2, they've been power posing. So we shout power pose. So if I ever see them come in and they look like a bit lethargic from whatever, I'll shout power pose. And they go, oh, power pose. Power pose is, if I stand like this, like it just makes you more energy. There's more going on in the body. When I teach interview skills, one of the things I say to people, get to the interview, go to the bathroom, walk around the bathroom. I will do one of 2 things. 1, get you psyched and ready to go. And 2, imagine me and you're going for the same interview and you're like, oh my god, right. And then you remember everything, and then you walk over and you see this guy. And then in my head, anybody's ever watched Gladiator? In my head, I'm walking around like this going, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? And that's just for me. Nobody else can hear that. I'm like, and then when it's time for me to go and do my, even there, see, doing it, that anchor just got me psyched again. I'm supposed to be lower. But just doing that makes me, like, ready. So then if I have a challenge or a goal or anything, now when I take on a challenge, if I say to anyone, I'm going to flip a 100 kilo tire, I weigh about 65 kilos, I'm going to flip a 100 kilo tire for a mile. You ever walk a mile? It's long. Flip a tire for a mile? Mental. I did that, it took me 70 minutes to do it. When I said, everyone, here I'm going to try this, everyone went, I'm going to ask you how long will it take you? No one goes, you what? They're like, right, no bother. When I claim I'm going to do anything, people expect me to do it. because I implement everything I talk about. And again, it's why I go by the Prove It guy. All my sports people have improved their performance. I work with anxiety, weight loss, fat loss, just entrepreneurs, everything. One of my guys yesterday just re-broke his world record for the fastest balloon modeler in the world. Ryan Tracy, I've worked with him for years. I'm his mindset coach, so you'll see him if you watch the video. He gets set up in his position, and he does like and that's his anchor. So if I watch the video and he goes, I don't know why I failed. If he hasn't done this, that's why he failed. So I go, you weren't in the zone. So he's able to just tap into what we did all the time. So everything that I do, everything I demonstrate, everything I'm capable of, everyone's capable of it as well. And that's why I go with the Prove It guy. So before I finish, I have about 3 minutes. Has anyone any questions about it? Yes?
Yeah, an example. We've been training for something for a couple of years. You're just breaking into it on stage, for example, and people around you are trying to tear you down and saying things, people that you would have thought would support you. How do you not let that in?
The first thing is to believe in what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you're doing, if you trust and believe in yourself for doing it, and you know that you will be great at it, then they shouldn't affect you. Because again, most of the time, it's because they didn't get to where you are. Like I grew up around a lot of people who took a lot of drugs. And when I started to break out of that and start to do other things, people would say things like, oh, you think you're better than me? When I started martial arts, I got in a lot of fights when I was younger. Oh, you do martial arts, you think you're better than me? I'm like, yeah. Because I never drank or smoked or anything. Probably because I grew up in a family that had addiction in it. So I just never did it. So whenever they were like, do you think you're better than me? I was like, well, yeah, because you've been smoking and drinking for 2 years and I've been, while you're smoking and drinking, I'm in the corner going. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, you're having a hallucination. I'm not even here. I had secret workouts everywhere. Because of my belief in myself and my dream, nothing they did. Like I worked in bars, I've had people threaten me with bottles. I had a guy smash a bottle and threaten to stab me with it. I told him it was a stupid idea. I had a guy that was wrecking the bar, for some reason take a dislike to me. He had 2 bouncers on him and the manager took a dislike to me. I decided that I would sort the whole thing out by agreeing to fight him. So I said, you know what, I'll fight you, let's go. Everyone that's going, he was a giant, we stand in front of each other. I go, actually, you know what, I'm going to have to clean all this up. We'll just do it outside, come on ahead. He walks outside, I close the door. So I came back in, everyone clapped because that was the best thing to do. Nobody got hurt, nothing got wrecked. I come back in, 3 door staff, because there's a new one arrived, my manager. I thought you were going to fight him. I'm not going to fight him, he's a giant. But I thought you were good at that stuff. Well, you don't believe in yourself. I'm like, I'm so good, I taught him out where you trained professionals couldn't. So I don't let it get to me because I know, like I don't feel that it's being cocky. I know I'm awesome at what I do because I do it all the time. I constantly, everyone I meet, everything I do, I'm constantly trying to make sure that I'm improving everything I do. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool. Any more questions before I go? Yes?
What's the best way to motivate teenagers if they're not in the sport?
If they're not into sport, are they into anything?
Well, I suppose with someone with the daughter that they didn't, she's very differential about it.
So find something that they like. Because there's always book clubs around the place. If there's not, make one. Like when I started martial arts, there was no traditional kung fu, so I just created it. I had a club. I was 1 lesson ahead of everybody I was teaching. I was in an hour before them going, what are we doing? And then people went out like, let's go. Kung fu. Find something that they're interested in. Do not push. If you push, especially as a parent, like I have parents that bring their kids to me, I'll say exactly what the parent said, word for word, on the phone to me. I'll say, my company does X, Y, and Z. And then I'll say, is it true that you just play the Xbox all the time? And if your parent was to ask you to empty a dishwasher, you tell them to bad word away. And then they say, aye. And I go, what would you do if I told you, if your parent was like, here, go out and talk to my son, and I went, bad word away, you. So God blessed you. I'm like, why should you don't care about them? Why should I care about them? So I changed the perspective and how I see it. But even me saying the exact same thing, I could come to your daughter and say, no, you should do read more books. And she go, that's a brilliant idea. And then you'll go, I've been saying that for ages. She goes, no, you never. You never tell me anything. And then they'll run away huffing. So finding something that they're already interested in and then growing that is, for me, the best plan. Trying to motivate. My thinking of motivation is, like, I showered before I came here this morning, so I'm clean. Just anyone wants a hug or anything later. But there's a good chance I should probably shower later, and probably, if not later, definitely tomorrow, or like within a week. Because one shower does not keep me clean for the week. Whereas people think they get motivated once. Live your dream, and you're like, I'm gonna live it. And then the next day they're like, I'm not gonna live it as much. Actually, now that you mention it. So you try to get motivated all the time, and again, back to my very start, the reason that I stay motivated is because I know how close, I know where I started, where I'm going, and where I am in between. I'm going to end there because that was good. I like that.